How you doing, DJ? Thank you for joining us, man.
Good. I feel like I should get my SD hat. Join the crew.
Yeah, man, let's do it. What's up, man? How you been?
All is well. All is well. It's a fun time of the year. Everybody's gearing up for basketball season, so exciting times.
Yeah, it is, man. I was watching some old highlights of you, and I was like, man, I miss. Those are some times, man. Those are some good times.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Today, we have the privilege of welcoming a true leader on and off the court to the podcast. This former standout point guard played a pivotal role in transforming the Aztecs into a nationally recognized powerhouse. As a team captain during SDSU's historic run to the 2011 NCAA Sweet 16, he was known for his clutch performances, leadership, and ability to guide his team under pressure. With multiple All-Mountain West honors and a reputation for being one of the hardest working players in the game, his impact goes beyond his stats. He had a notable basketball career at San Diego State University from 2007 to 2011. He was part of SDSU's winningest class at the time of his graduation, helping the team achieve 96 wins over his 4 years. This included multiple 20-plus win seasons and a trip to the Sweet 16 in the 2010-2011 NCAA tournament. He played 136 games during his SDSU career, which at the time was the most games played by any player in SDSU history. He made 205 three-pointers in his career, placing him amongst the top players in SDSU's all-time three-point shooting records. He ranks among the top 10 in SDSU history for career assists with over 400 assists. His senior year, he was named team captain and led the team to a school record 34-3 overall record. Throughout his time at SDSU, he received multiple All-Mountain West honors, including first-team All-Conference recognition during his senior year. It's our privilege and honor to welcome number 23, DJ Gay, to the podcast.
Man, that was a lot of memories coming back as you made that intro. I forgot probably about 80% of that stuff.
Oh, man. I still, I'll tell you what, man. That to me, that intro was the best. Of all. I still run around saying that stuff once in a while, man. Like I just, it was such a powerful intro, and I think you were the last one off the bench, right? During that.
I believe so. So.
To sort of get hyped up with that and then jump into the game, I was like, man, this is it, dude. Here we go.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you every time you come back down to San Diego area, just walking around the street or back at Viejas and just everybody yelling out at you, DJ Gay? That's gotta put a smile on your face, right? Or is it annoying at this point?
No, it's always nice to be, recognized and just knowing that, Viejas is always home. It's always home.
Big time. Well, you are an absolute legend, man. I put it out there that we're having a conversation with an Aztec legend tonight, and I've been looking forward to this one. When I think back on your time as an Aztec, Mike, you hit it on the head, man. I mean, a leader on and off the court, and obviously you're continuing with that leadership coaching, right? Tell us a little bit about what's going on right now.
Yeah, so I made the move back home to LA. I'm at Windward High School right now, and it's been great, working with some high-level kids at a high-level program. We were, fell short by 4 points last year, lost in the D1 championship, but looking to make another run. So it's been great. It's been pretty high level, and I'm excited about the opportunity I've been provided.
I was watching an interview with you when a guy said, "What is your three things if you wanted to coach high school basketball? What were your three, or what if you wanted to coach high school basketball?" You said, "Well, what are your three drivers?" Right? And you were saying about it's not about going to win a championship; it's competing with kids, helping them along the journey, playing competitors, that you want to play. How much of that is or was kind of internal, and how much of that was brought out by Coach Fish and Coach Dutch? Because that sounds very similar to how they kind of play.
As a player prior to college, I was always pretty self-driven. I think what Coach Fisher, Coach Dutch, and the coaching staff really brought out of me was how to channel that into winning. And that's something that I learned, really learned at the college level. It wasn't, in high school, I averaged 30 points a game in high school. And, to what you said, I had to really change who I was as a player when I got to college, and it wasn't so much about me scoring. It's like, what can I do to affect the game and help the team win, and just playing selfless basketball. So I think college and the coaching staff and the opportunity I was given really allowed me to learn how to play basketball like chess instead of playing checkers, which I was doing in high school. So definitely learned a lot from them, and that's something that I continue to echo to the kids that I work with now.
Do you ever? How often do you talk to them? Do you bounce stuff off of them and coaching philosophies and things like that, or how often do you get to talk to them?
Well, I mean, I go down to every time I'm in San Diego. I always stop by. I always try to come and watch a practice. Saw a few over the summer. Got to see the new team and saw them work out a couple times. Always check in with Coach Fish and Coach Dutch. Talk to Dave all the time. So, I mean, that's family forever, right? It's not just call when you need something. They call and check in on me, and I call and check in on them. I was actually talking to Coach Dave Velasquez. We're probably going to connect when I come down there for the Torrey Pines tournament, but looking forward to heading down and watching some games and just continue to learn every time I'm with them and bouncing ideas. And I asked them to send me some film of what they're doing and see how I can add it into what I'm doing. So I'm constantly learning from that staff till this day.
That's great. So Dave was kind of, when did he jump on with you guys? Was it like 07, 08? Was it in that
No,
time
yeah,
frame?
he was actually I believe he was a manager, at first, and got into video coordinator with my time there, I believe. I
Okay.
believe that was like his transition. So he was someone that, you call Dave, let's get a workout in. He was a person that it was there early, stayed late, was really good with the player development side, and it's been fun to watch him just grow as a man, as a coach, as a father, just over the years. And I'm really excited about how he's really taken multiple steps forward as a coach with the program.
It's gonna be real interesting to see this team this year. Some people are calling it a rebuilding year, but we'll get into all that stuff. Man.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how closely you keep an eye on it. Sounds like you do pretty much. Obviously, you want to get some eyeballs on what they're doing. That's exciting, man. That's got to be exciting for you now in that position as a coach.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and something that we all know is, the way that they recruit. They recruit defenders, they recruit dogs, they recruit, guys that don't back down. And just watching them with their continue of having that size and length. And man, it's gonna be hard to score on them this year. It's gonna be hard to score on them, but it's also an opportunity to see, Bird and Reese really step up and play, a much bigger role this year, and seeing their growth and how they've changed and their confidence. I think they're in good hands. I mean, they got a lot of new pieces, a lot of exciting pieces that we'll see. And it's all about gelling and the way that they're practicing and competing now. I got a chance to watch them scrimmage a little bit, and people may call it a rebuilding year, but I think they're just going to continue moving up that ladder.
How did they
What was
look in their scrimmages? I mean, did they look like a good Aztec team? Like a traditional Aztec team?
Yeah, I mean, what I think may be a bit different. I think this will be, depending on how they decide to play, maybe their top 7 to 8 guys, but they are huge. They this is a big, long, athletic team. I think if there was any like hole that I would have to pick out right now, it's you know how are they going to shoot the three ball, right? I think that three ball and space in the floor, I think that's going to be something that we're all going to wait to see. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, they have all the pieces to be really, really good.
I think they're really
We-
going to surprise people this year. And, you talk about the three ball, you got guys like Magoon Gwath, 7 foot who can step out and hit threes. Miles can light it up from the outside. Guys like, bring in a guy like Nick Boyd. I know Wayne McKinney's really been working on his three. Got to see BJ Davis this summer at Swish League, and he was knocking them down from the outside. So I think this team has the potential to really surprise a lot of people. I just don't know how quickly they're going to get into that top form. And man, that schedule is brutal early on,
Yes,
those
it is.
first 5 games, or
Yes,
6
it is.
games.
Yes, it is. And I think, I mean, even with the way that they scheduled, what if it's a hiccup here or there? I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about hitting your peak at the right time, right? Just getting at the right time as you head into postseason. And there's so much individual talent on this team. I don't think people really realize how talented they are. The biggest question is, to your point, is how fast will they gel? I know it will happen, but when does it? Will it happen early? Does it happen by league? But I think with what the coaches are preaching to the players, and something that they continue to echo since I was playing there, is, hey, we win, everybody's boat rises. So when you get a team that's bought into that, it's very easy to put your ego aside and do what you have to do to win, especially in a winning culture.
So when you were in high school, the recruiting process, what was that like? How did you choose state? Can you walk us through all that?
Yeah, has completely changed, right? There's no NILs. There was definitely no. That was back when everybody had boxes and boxes of letters, right? It was. I'm not even sure if colleges are still doing letters, but my recruiting process was. No, it's pretty interesting. My top 5 schools that it came down to were Pepperdine, SC, UC Irvine, San Diego State, and Boston, I believe. And I had previously I committed to UC. I gave verbal committed to UC Irvine first. And San Diego State said, "Hey, just take one more look. Just come down, just one more look, like no pressure." And, something inside of me and my family, we talked, we said, okay, just take one more look, and came down. And I think it was my second or maybe the third time. And I was sold. I was sold, not just from, the coaching staff, but, it was another opportunity for me to reconnect with the players, hang out with them again, see what they're really about, especially when you go on your visits. Everybody's going to be on their best behavior and, say the right things. And, by the time I kind of got down to the third time, I really got a chance to get to know them. And it's like, hey, it's not just a sales pitch. This is who they really are. This is what they're really about. And that's what really sold me. So, it was, like I said, back in the day where, money wasn't really involved and anything like that. So it's the old fashioned way.
Well, we're glad you choose state, man. We were so
Yeah.
happy. That was
Yeah,
a
me
fun
too.
run. I
Yes,
mean,
it was.
so when you got here, what was kind of the biggest transition for you from the high school game to here? Obviously, not scoring 30 points a game. How was that? How mentally was that difficult? Was that kind of like, all right, let's just go, let's roll?
For me, it was, how am I going to get on the floor, right? Like how am I going to find my way on, just to get some playing time? Like that was the biggest thing. There was no thought in my head that I was going to go to college as a freshman and average 30 points a game like that. I had, was realistic about that. And I think that first week of practice, when I was trying to stay in front of Richie Williams at the time, that just seemed like mission impossible. One of the fastest players I have ever been on the court with. And I remember calling back home and saying, like, how in the world do I guard somebody this fast? And he wasn't just that fast, but he was tough. He was strong. He can pick me up full court. And, at that time I still had a high school body. So I think the biggest adjustment was, one, the physicality, two, going to battle against somebody every single day that that just had all the tools. Like Richie was just different, you know. But the best advice that I received was like, hey, with somebody like that, and it sounds crazy, but they say pick him up full court, and what's going to happen is that the first 2 to 3 days, people are just going to look at you crazy. Like, what are you doing? You can't stay in front of him. But what actually happened was like after about a week or so, I actually started, learning the body and learning how it moved and learning how to read and react. And, I was able to really adjust. So, I just kind of threw myself in the deep end and say, hey, this is a sink or swim moment for me. And, it worked out.
Love that, man. Richie Williams, so underrated when you think of Aztec greats, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Really being that on those building blocks leading up to your guys' incredible season. I mean, yeah, I love to hear that, man. Jeez. He was so super quick.
Right. Yes, he was. One of the fastest for sure.
When you think about, when it comes to like NIL, and then we're talking about recruiting and all that stuff, like it is a different ball game now, right? I mean, the expectations are different now on both sides, whether you're a student athlete or a coaches. And now in your position, like at that level, that prep level, I mean, I know it's still fairly new, but do you feel like who you were, DJ, at that age and seeing these young guys coming up at that similar, point in life as back then, like, I mean, are kids the same these days? Do you feel like what they're looking for in a program or is the same things that you were looking for in a program at that time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Money talks. Money talks. And I've heard some crazy wild stories about it, but it's become a legit business where kids have representation now. You got agents at high school games. You have kids telling colleges like, hey, don't talk to me unless you're willing to come up with this certain amount of number. If you don't have this number, no thank you. It's a scary time. It's a scary time. And the question comes up to me often like, hey, you want to get into college coaching. And what I grew up with, the college coaching and what it is today, it's night and day difference. It feels like it's no longer about the relationships. It's no longer about helping young men, grow into men to help lead the future. It's become a tough thing to navigate if it's something that you morally haven't really goes against your morals, I guess you can say. But with everything comes change, and coaches across the country are changing with it and doing the best job that they can. But I mean, let's call it what it is. College sports is now a business. So, it's just what it is.
Are you seeing that filter down to like the high school level and like AAU level? I mean, because there aren't really any rules as far as NIL with that either.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's I play for a pretty well-known, I coach for a pretty well-known program, and we're seeing the the Sierra Canyons, the Modern Days, the Boscos, we're seeing all this. And I'm not saying that to say I know what's going on over there or anything like that, but just from my own experience, I'll have families call that are interested in the program, and they'll ask me like, hey, what is, do you guys offer any NIL or what does housing look like, or things where I'm like, that's not what we're about. That's not what we're about. And or this school is offering me this, can you guys match it? And that's just, it's not a game that I'm playing or willing to play, but it's definitely something that has translated into the high school realm. And I mean, AAU is definitely the wild, wild west now, where that's a whole other beast, a whole other monster, where players are making money, especially with these shoe companies or shoe sponsorships, where getting paid to play. So as a player, like it's truly exciting, right? But as a coach, it can be a nightmare if you don't navigate it right.
Yeah, we talk about that on the pod all the time about, we have our guys, state guys, right? And Dutch saying, if first thing out of your mouth is money, then we're good. We're not
Yep.
going to go that route. And so it's interesting to see that's kind of obviously your mentality too, it sounds like, but the mentality of Dutch and Dave and all those guys is, hey, come play with us. We want to make you better players. We want to make you better people, better men, and growing up
Sorry,
with them. You got the little one?
Yeah, little one's trying to hop in here and say hello.
Hey.
Say hi, Seiji.
Hey.
What's up? What's up?
That's awesome. We get that.
Seiji.
Sorry about that, fellas. You just gotta hop in.
You're good. You're good, man.
You're
My little
good.
girl
You're
pops in
good.
sometimes too.
Mike's little girl pops in so much. We made a soundbite of her talking and added on the podcast. It's great.
Yeah.
She's like, Daddy, they didn't put my Go Aztecs at the end. I'm like, you gotta talk to them. But yeah, it's interesting to see that about, hey, these are our guys. We want to have a certain kind of individual that we want to recruit, and they do that, and they seem to have the same over and over. And obviously you're one of them, and it's the same. We've talked to a few guys, Billy and Jamal and them, and it's the same kind of ilk of individual of just a good dude who balls out, and I just love talking to everybody about that, and with you guys, because it's obviously we've talked before, and Jamal and I have talked before with in the gym and stuff like that, but it's interesting to see. Like, I hadn't seen Jamal in a while, and he's like, hey, how's your kid? How's the little one? And I'm like, man, like you didn't have to remember that,
Right.
So yeah, it's got to be tough as a coach. It's got to be like unbelievable as an athlete, but as a coach, it's got to be pull your hair out sometimes.
Well, I mean, it only becomes stressful if you're willing to operate in the gray area. And I think one thing that I've really learned, especially taken away from mentors like coaches at San Diego State and things like that, is one, you recruit the family, right? You recruit the family because once you understand the family, you know what kind of kid that you're getting. And it tells you everything, right? It tells you everything. So it's not just about how talented that kid is, because no matter how talented he is, if it's a me guy, then you know that you have a potential cancer on your team. But if you have someone that shares the same morals and the same thought process, that's all it is building teams it's a puzzle. You just need pieces, but all pieces need to be aligned morally.
Yeah.
I like that. And I love what you're saying. I agree with that 100%. I think one thing Aztec Nation fans kind of need to hear, because like what you're saying, Mike, and exactly like Aztecs and Coach Dutch and Fish, they have their kind of guys, right? And like what you're saying, get to know the family, get to recruit the family and all that good stuff. But Aztec Nation has seen a couple upperclassmen, seniors, super seniors move on to greener pastures, for those NIL deals at other schools. And I think that's something that's important for Aztec Nation to understand. Like, it's okay. You can still be a good dude and still, earn some money and really get that revenue off of your NIL. And I think with what we've seen, especially at State, is, guys that have been for 4 years, you know what I mean, have really, really attached themselves to the program, and it's a family environment. And
absolutely,
at that point, people I think understand, okay, well, they're a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, in no way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. Hold
You're
on,
good, man.
Let me.
It's a family show.
Yeah,
it's a family show.
I need to get her milk for 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
You're
good.
Take
your time, man. I love that. Surprised Harper hasn't been here yet. Where are you gonna do the start bench cut with the? I like that one that Fiend said with the songs.
I didn't see that. Which ones? I'll let Fiend do that one. Let Fiend do that one.
The three songs by Tess. We'll let him.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite?
Oh,
no.
That's
the start bench cut. We'll let you do that one.
Okay.
Is that cool? Yeah. But where are we gonna go? We're gonna go to Colorado State or Wyoming, because we have Colorado State for a while.
What are you talking about?
For the roadie.
For the roadie? Oh no, we can't go to Wyoming on a roadie, dude.
Yeah, don't want to go to Wyoming.
Not for basketball.
Why is it just not because it's too cold or what, or just too much
Well,
nonsense?
we'll ask DJ. We'll ask him where does he think we should go.
Logan,
I don't think he didn't get a
New
chance to play
Mexico,
Logan.
Nevada.
I don't know because they came in 12.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, fellas.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 3. She'll be 4 in December.
Oh man, that's the best, dude. Like, and you have a little boy too.
Yeah, he's 6.
So I was telling these guys I didn't grow up with girls. I had like 12 cousins and 11 of them were boys. So I had no idea what I was doing. The fact I even got married, like, unbelievable to me. Like, now, look at the 6 years of my little girl. I've learned so much about women that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, whoa. It's the best though when you're like, hi baby, hi daddy.
That's right.
Like you're like, oh gosh, man. Like I remember like I had her and I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, you know what I mean, with kids. And I remember she was like 2, I was like, I said something. She's like, I love you, daddy, for the first time. And I was like, oh, that was it, man. That was it.
Yeah,
And my wife's like, oh,
gotcha.
she's around your little finger now. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
man. No
So
doubt.
That explains it. That explains it. He's tied wrapped around her finger.
Oh, man.
yeah,
It was the
it's
best.
all good until you're doing the interview, right?
Yeah. No, it's fun, man. It's all
Yeah.
good, dude. But
Yeah.
So DJ, we're looking at like road trips for the crew here. Last year we made a road trip up there to Reno. Of course, UNLV. That's always like a Las Vegas. That's our stomping ground, right?
Right.
Where would you pick? Because you didn't get a chance to play against Utah State those years. They came after you to the Mountain
that's
West.
right. Yeah, my favorite place to play as a player was always the Pit. That was always my number one place. I loved playing there and competing there. So that's have you guys been?
we went
Yeah,
last
we
year.
were there last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
they put a whooping on us, man, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Mm.
But it was still fun. I'd never been to New Mexico, and I don't think these guys either. But it was, I would go back, man. Like I would go back. It was fun. It was everybody's pretty chill. Obviously, you get a little banter here and there and stuff like that.
Right.
But that was an interesting arena to go to, and it's always fun to go to someone else's house. I've always, I remember what Winston said. He's like, man, I don't like that place because I think they threw cups on him or something like that. He was like, nah,
Yeah.
man. But yeah, that was fun. We're thinking about maybe Colorado State.
Colorado State. Well, Colorado State, when I was playing, it was probably half the gym was full. It wasn't. But now with the way they've turned things around there, I think that it may be a pretty fun atmosphere there. And it's always nice to go and try to beat a former Aztec and Tim Shelton, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just about to say that. Just about to say that. We'll have to go pay him a visit.
That's
Yeah.
that's a good segue for a couple of questions now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
so
shot, let me do the shot real quick, and then I want you to ask this question
All right.
because we have a good question for you. That shot, and the shot I was talking about when in Colorado State to win it.
Oh.
I freaking ran out of the house, man. I was like, I ran out of the house. What can you walk us through that whole scenario? It was like what 54, 52, and then they tied, and then you went down and no timeout, just went down. It was like it was almost perpendicular where Lamont hit his shot from the opposite side of the key. Which is funny.
Do you have this written down, or do you remember this?
No, I
That's
remember,
really, that is.
Bro, I've been watching. I remember this because there's certain shots that you like. Dwayne when he hit the 3 against Boise State,
Right.
Chase hit that shot against them, but that shot to me, there were certain shots where you're like, hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
As a San Diego fan, right? You're like, hell yeah. And I watched a few stuff this morning. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, knowing you were going on. But what was that like, man? What goes through your mind in those situations or that situation of, because it's different. Does it slow down for you? What was it like?
And when there's no thinking going on. Everything's a reaction, right? There's no, I mean, it's kind of an out of body experience, I guess you can say. Well, I mean, from what I remember, and just being in situations like that, hitting, game winners, it's, it's, you don't see the crowd, you don't hear the crowd, it's just you and 9 other people on the court. And, think the only thing going through your mind is I got to make a play. I got to make a play, and sure enough, the opportunity came my way, and that's exactly what I did. Just knowing time and score and situations and where the advantage was, and just being able to get to your spot. With players, when you rep something thousands and thousands of times, and that was a shot that I've repped and was always a go-to for me. So I think that was just pretty much it. So
Read and react.
yep,
I love that.
exactly,
I love that.
exactly.
Now he's got a good question for you. I want to see what the answer to this is.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a start, bench, or cut, and these are Tim Shelton's songs. So Game Time Ready, Aztec Motto, and Montezuma 55th. So bench, start, cut.
Bench, start, cut.
Shoot, we're probably gonna have to replay those for DJ to get that back in your memory, man.
I can sing them. I can
still have
sing
his
them
albums.
right
I still have his albums on my phone.
Big ups, DJ Gay, shout squad, Spurs all
Yeah,
day.
game time ready's for sure a start. Game time ready's for sure the start. I think I gotta bench Montezuma 55th. I think that's yeah.
So you're gonna cut Aztec Motto?
Yeah, I gotta cut Aztec Motto.
He gave you shouts. He gave you shout out in that song.
Yeah, but it was,
But it's not a Drake beat. It's on a Drake beat, man.
Yeah, it's Drake's songs. It's
Drake,
it's Drake. It's Drake's songs, but
Are you gonna get a text message about after this is released?
probably. I was just with him about a week ago.
Do you guys have a take on that?
Who us?
I agree with that, man. I agree with that
Yeah.
because Game Time Ready, that was like the start of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was just special year, man. Special year.
And then they played that like before games too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they did the other songs, but definitely that song they played. And they have a big like debut of that song like before a game. I don't remember exactly, but no, that was just such a huge year. I mean, only the run that you guys went on, undefeated, very much like the 2020 team, with I mean how far you guys went, undefeated and just climbed in the polls up into the top 5. And I don't know.
So
do we want to talk about the tournament? But
yeah, I mean it's pretty safe to say, DJ, your buzzer beaters like are up there, you know what I mean, as far as the legendary Aztec basketball buzzer beaters. Do you have any preference between that Colorado State one or of course the UNLV one? I mean, in the Mountain West tournament.
The UNLV one, I liked that's the one that I like the most because the person that I made it on was somebody that I competed against in high school. So it was like a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more fun that way. So, and always beating UNLV at UNLV is always nice.
And then that sent you guys to the championship game to take on Jimmer Fredette and BYU for the rematch. So
that's
that must have been just thrilling.
Right. Absolutely.
There was no stopping you guys in that game. No stopping you guys in that game.
What was that like, knowing that he had I mean, he just was doing Jimmer Fredette things the first 2 games. You just couldn't stop him, right? Even though you were trying. But then just what was the difference in that last game that kind of put you guys over the edge of, I mean, I know it's hard to beat someone 3 times, but I mean, he was unbelievable in that.
Honestly, the coaches did a phenomenal job with adjustments. Hats off to Coach Justin Hudson, who was our primary defensive coach. And I think about that all the time because the strategy that they use is something that we use, I guess I should say, is something that has always stuck with me and I use till this day. But if you remember, those first 2 games we had guards on Jimmer Fredette. So it was like me or Chase, or it was like just smaller, quicker guards. But the championship game, we had Billy, Kawhi, we had big wings, like defenders on him. So for us, like, even though we can stay in front of him, he can still create enough separation and get his shot off. But it's a lot easier shooting against somebody who's 6 foot as it is somebody who's 6'7", right? So when we made that tweak in that last game, I think that was really, the biggest difference, and was really, interesting. It was like, well, point guards always match up with point guards, but we kind of flipped it and we put, some forwards, some athletic forwards on him, and made his shot selection a whole lot different.
Who do you think on this year's Aztec team could hang with you guys on that legendary team with you guys? Who do you think can hang?
Well, I think one, I mean, they're athletically, they can all touch the floor, I think. But who I would like to go to battle with from this team, I think Reese would really fit in. I think he would have really fit in, because he's somebody that can score without his name being called. Like, you don't have to call a play for him, but he's tough enough, he's athletic enough, like, you can switch him in different positions. It's somebody you can drive and create for, but because we had so many weapons, right? You can go through Kawhi, you can go through Billy, you can go through Malcolm, you could have gone through me, you can gone through Chase. I think, like, kind of interchanging like a Chase and Reese like that, wouldn't be much drop off there. So like, if I were to think about it, and they both were similar, they both can shoot it, they both can score it, and you didn't have to call their number. So I think Reese would have been I think he could have fit with us.
I like that. Yeah. Sneaky, just like a sneaky assassin out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you look up and all of a sudden he has 15 points and you're like, well, we didn't even plan for him,
Yeah. Everybody else draws so much attention.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I like the way you phrase that. Who we go to battle with. It's probably a better way to phrase that question than who can hang. Because I hear what you're saying. Everybody out there on that, on that
they can
team
all
is pretty good.
hang. They can definitely all hang. They all, these teams and these kids are built different nowadays.
Yeah, it's just amazing how much bigger they've gotten. I think I was listening to Dutch about, or I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Dutch, but when we first played UConn, he said we got to get like big.
Yeah.
Big. And then he's like, we got to get tall. So it's been like a kind of a maturation process of, if we want to get to where we need to get to, we got to get bigger, taller, faster, all that stuff. Even I mean, you guys were an X factor, right? But it's interesting to see the teams. This is a massive team, man. Like, this is a big, this is a big team. So it's going to be interesting to see how, like, when we went up against UConn and that guy, is it Klingon or whatever his name was? It just we didn't have anybody, right? I mean, even though Jaden is a monster, he just didn't have,
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see these young kids, and Magoon looks great, and I'm really looking forward to Reese. Like, I'm glad you said that, because I've been a big fan of his, and he just looks fluid out there.
Yeah.
It just says it looks easy. It looks easy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he came back, and I'm pumped to see him. And who are you looking forward to seeing? Like, if you had to pick a couple guys, you're like, I'm curious to see how they do this season. I'm kind of, these are my guys I think are going to have big years.
I'm really excited to see the freshman Pharaoh from Vegas.
Okay.
He is he's a man child, and he's a freak athlete, dunks everything around the rim, can do a lot of different things. I think he's going to be a nice addition there. I'm really excited to see, Bird in this new leadership role. Him just someone that everybody's gonna be looking at to be a guy like, hey, this is your turn. And I've seen him in practice, quite a bit with no one else in the gym, and seeing what he can really do. So now it's just time for him to show everybody else, like, what the reason why he's there. So I think those two are like the most I'm most excited to see Pharaoh, just as a freshman that is going to grow into, I think, a dude. And then Bird, I mean, him just being how tall is he now? 6'6", being that size and point guard and being able to just do different things. I think those are the two guys that intrigue me the most.
I was watching the highlights of the New Mexico where you kind of had the 3-pointer at the end and then the free throws in the 09-010 season.
Oh,
do you remember that game? I was watching
yeah.
videos. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. My ears are still ringing from that from those free throws.
So when you say the pit was your favorite place to play, was it just different? It was just different.
It was the loudest. It was the loudest place. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those free throws. Normally, like I said, you don't really hear the crowd. Like as a player, when you're on the court, like if you hear the crowd, then you're not locked in. But at that point in time, as loud it was in that gym, like my head hurt, like my ears hurt. It was that loud. So, but just that atmosphere, the fans they're mean. They are, when you think about college basketball, like that's a place where you go there and it's gonna be loud. It's gonna be crazy. It's going to be everything that you want when you think about a high level game. So I mean, playing in front of a sold out crowd like that, these games are always fun. Great battles.
Was Snake there, the super fan?
Oh, of course, front row, right there.
He wasn't in prison at that time.
He was out on probation.
Well, he was there. He was definitely there.
Where was your favorite place to play outside of New Mexico? What was your favorite road venue?
Like in league or just in general?
I mean, either or.
Well, I mean, the opportunity to play in Madison Square Garden, like that was something to check off your bucket list as just a hooper. That was my sophomore year. We made the Final Four of the NIT. It was the NIT, but we played in Madison Square Garden. That was an experience, just being on the same floor as legends. I think I can tell you my worst place I hated to go, BYU. Yeah. BYU was the worst place to play at.
Why?
What was it? It was just weird. It was just a weird place. And obviously it was a very big rivalry between the two, but just seeing the crowd like trying not to be nasty, but being nasty at the same time, it was just always hard to like get into a rhythm there. It was like something was just always off about that place. Maybe it was just me in my head, but I hated playing there.
I think it's just the whole state of Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with Utah State now. I mean, BYU moved on, and Utah State has been a rival. They've been very successful.
Yeah.
And just something a little off, with those people. Yeah. And they're BYU light, So definitely I can see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
Children of the Corn, is that what you call them?
Yeah, Children of the Corn.
Yeah, I don't know. That it was just that wasn't a place that I really liked going and playing.
Yeah, Mike wants us to go to Logan for a road trip. He's like begging us to go to Logan. We're all like, no, we're not going.
No, I just want to go because you don't want to go. I want to go there just because to take you up there into like, you got to face your demons, man. You know what I mean?
That would be a big demon.
Yeah, I think I would like to go to Wyoming, but I don't know if they want to go because Matt just went to the basketball game or the football game there. But I think maybe Colorado State, because I've been to Fresno, Boise, which we don't do well at Boise ever, honestly. Fresno.
Did you like Wyoming? Did you like playing in Wyoming? Yeah.
Oh, it's the hardest place to play because of the altitude. Like you just can't breathe up there. And once again, when I was playing there, that it was 75% empty. There was no one there. So it wasn't fun. You couldn't breathe, and which made it even harder to win there because you got to build your own, energy, bring your own energy. There was no really crowd or anything like that. but no, I wasn't the biggest fan of Wyoming. It's close to BYU, but not as bad.
That's what everybody told me out there in Laramie when I went for the football game. Everybody was saying for basketball, it's really tough, right? Because you get no breaks. I mean, you're just
No
constant
breaks.
up and down the court. Football, okay, next play. Catch
Right.
your breath a little bit. Next play. Non-basketball. I'm partial to Colorado State and in large part because of your shot. I mean, that was such a memorable game winner there, and seeing the crowd reaction. I want to go make that roadie and watch a game, watch the Aztecs win in the arena that you hit that shot in personally. So
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards that one.
We can
DJ, what was your? I'm sorry, Mike. What was your DJ? What was your preferred shoe to play in your years at State? I know the shoes was a big thing.
Woo. Man, that's a great question.
Was there Jordans, obviously, or was something
I
else?
think it was Jordans, and I never hooped in Jordans, but my teammate Kelvin Davis, I'll never forget. He gave me a pair of his. He was like, "Hey, try these for practice," and I tried them on, and I just loved them. I loved them. I couldn't even tell you which ones they were, what number they were, but yeah. I wasn't much of a shoe head in college, especially the way it is now. It was just like, just give me something comfortable. Let me just go out there and hoop. Like I don't care what it looked like.
DJ, old school.
Yeah.
Well, I know we don't want to take up too much of your time. We're about almost an hour here, man. But
Yeah.
I know you got other obligations, but we really appreciate you taking the time. This has been fun.
No, it's been great. A lot of memories, and shoot, I'm getting chills now just thinking back to, a lot of things that you guys have brought up that I haven't really thought about in a long time. And I appreciate the time and opportunity.
We love it. We love basketball. You know what I mean? Us three guys, just commonalities, and you get together and hang out, and the memory is what you take with you forever. You know what I mean? That you gotta enjoy what you got, because it become a memory at some point. But those times were fun. That was the first time as an Aztec, because I had a basketball ticket since the arena opened. I was even going to Peterson Gym when the women were playing,
Oh wow.
Tammy Blackburn and them. And so when you guys started doing well, and I mean, I was just like, to me that was the best, man, because it was the most fun. I lost a lot of girlfriends during the basketball season, man, to be honest, because I was always going to the games. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but yeah, it was fun to watch you guys, and then to get to know you guys a little bit through, working out in the gym and stuff like that. It's been fun to kind of keep in touch and reconnect.
Yeah. Is it all right if I ask you guys a couple questions?
Absolutely.
So my first question to you is who are you most excited to see this season? Who are your top two guys that you're really looking forward to seeing this season?
I'll go first because I'm along the lines of Bird. I think Miles Bird has those leadership potential right there that I really want to see. The vocal leader and just the energy that he brought last season. I want to see that. Exponentially grow. And yeah, Reese as well. I think he's the big X factor. I think we were a different team early in the season last year when he was really going off, and then the injury kind of derailed a little bit of that. So both of those two, but man, there's so many. I don't want to say unknowns, but just as a team collectively, you want to see Jared Coleman Jones. You want to see what the big man can do. The transfer coming in and seeing him get active. Farrell Compton, of course, the freshman. Like there's just so many guys. I mean, Nick Boyd coming over from FAU. Good Lord, FAU. Lamont Butler hits the shot, and then now Nick Boyd is an Aztec. Like you never would have thought that he would be wearing the black and red, and here he is. And Wayne McKinney. I mean, there's just too many. There's too many. It's exciting season, exciting team too.
I think for me, like personally, I've just been dying to see Magoon Gwath. I mean, ever since he played in Swiss League last year, and we knew he was probably going to redshirt, right? But he was just draining threes from NBA range, and just he could guard 1 through 4. The quick feet, good handles for a big guy. Just needed to put on some weight, and now he's done that. and he's continuing to develop his body, and he has all the skills to really be a breakout player. He's the one guy I chomping at the bit to see him play, and I think there's a good chance that he could start for the Aztecs this year. And then the other guy obviously is Miles Bird. I want to see that jump, if he can, like you said, that leadership role, but also not just the leadership like on and off the court, but really putting that team, carrying that team too when at times when it's needed. I think he is a guy that you can put the ball in his hands, and he's going to get you a big shot when you need it. And he's another guy that was very thin coming in from high school, has developed his body, continues to grow, and just continues to work on his craft. So those two guys, yeah, I'm thrilled. Can't wait to. But I agree with Mateo. So many of those guys, like that I'm really excited to see, and I just can't wait for the season to tip off.
I would say my two are Miles Heide and BJ Davis. I want to see how the freshmen from last year, with one more year and one more off season under their belt, see how they progressed this year, because they are both, you can see the talent was there, but obviously I wouldn't say the game was too fast for them last year, but it was you could see that it took them a little bit to get going. But I'm excited to see their maturation this year. Those are probably the two guys I'm looking at.
Last one. When Coach Dutch took over the program, did you think he would do as well as he has?
Of course, 100%, without a question. I don't know, man. That's a good question, because you don't. It's you have a guy who's been an assistant for so long, and Fish was so instrumental in the program, even though Dutch was with him, and obviously you saw it more than we did. I don't know if I thought he would. I knew he would be good, but I don't know if I thought he would have this much success this quickly, to be honest. But I mean, obviously, hey, that's our guy. I also think I'm going to call it. I think Dave's probably the next in line. He's going to be next one after Coach Dutch, to be honest, which is great, because then you have the lineage of 25 years plus of three guys, so which would be fun. But
sorry, I'll get in there. I don't know if I did, DJ. I mean, that's an amazing question. I don't know if I did, because I mean, just Aztecs being a basketball power to where it is now, like that wasn't a reality for so many years. And then to see what you guys did in those building years with Coach Fisher, and to get to this point, I knew the program would maintain and build upon that. But national championship appearance, I mean, it is incredible what it's done to San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, I think I underestimated him too when he first started, and if you remember back then, I mean, the last year of Fisher's, last season with Fisher was like our worst season in like, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And think we finished 6th in the conference, had to do a playing game in Vegas. And so, the program was already kind of down that year, and then he took over. And if you remember, like the first half of 2018, we were just not in sync, not playing well. It was definitely not a tournament team. And it was like, we're going to miss the tournament 2 years in a row or 3 years. And so there were some questions, and a lot of that. Obviously, he turned it around. We got to the tournament in 2018, had a little dip in 2019, but since 2020, it's been rocking and rolling every year, and he's really got that thing humming. And just the fact that he's been able to take the defensive principles, but then add in the offense as well, has just really elevated this program. And the culture is still there. What you guys laid the foundation for is still intact. And so this program is just on great footing, and Brian Dutcher has just taken the torch from Fisher and ascended us even higher.
Awesome. Thanks for being honest.
we try to be. What about you? Were you surprised? I guess not surprised, but were you surprised, I guess, how quickly he became so successful after seeing him and being with him for so long?
I mean, I think the national championship appearance was it might have been a shock to him as well. You know, that's I think anybody who makes it there takes a little bit of luck. I mean, as we saw, game winner, in the Final Four. But I think what I knew about Coach Dutch that separates him, I would say, from a lot of coaches that I meet is he really is a player's coach. He's somebody that it's fun to play for him. Coach Fish was he was Yoda. He was like, you didn't want to let him down. He was wise. He was, you never wanted to disappoint him. But Dutch is someone where you can go, have a great conversation with him, and he lets you be you, and joke around and hang out with you a bit. So it was knowing that about him and knowing the pieces that he had and letting them be who they were. It was just a matter of time before it all came together. I think the success he's had, it happened faster than I anticipated, especially with the championship appearance. But I'm not shocked on what it has turned into, because he has been able to get in the right players. He's kept his morals strong, and the entire coaching staff, and surrounding himself by the right people, and bringing in the right families and players. And that's something nowadays where everybody wants a quick fix. That's not what he's about. So he's someone who's always thinking, in the future and how to get the most out of his players. So with a coach like that, you're going to find a way to win. You're going to find a way to win, because what player doesn't want to play for a coach that doesn't let them, that lets them rock, let them be him? Like, oh, you're not mad if I, get into my bag a little bit? Like, no, as long as you get your butt back on defense and, make some plays to make up for it. So it's always, you'll notice that players play loose for him. They're never like afraid to come out, like, so I think that's what really, really sets him apart.
We love him. We love him. Absolutely love him.
Well, I know you and a lot of the former players are big parts of that success, and I think you guys know that as well. I'm sure that is felt amongst Aztec Nation and you guys. The fact that we know that you guys are so connected to the program still to this day, and there's so many guys that come back in and out, checking in, and are actively a part of the program. It's wonderful to see, man. And so awesome stuff, DJ. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks
man.
so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It's great to meet you and talk hoop, Aztec hoop.
Always.
Big
Hope
time.
I catch you guys in the game.
I gotta ask you before you go, man. What are you up to now? What's your weight up to now? My guy on the football podcast, he was asking, like, man, you gotta ask him what he was doing. He's got jacked.
Oh, I'm not jacked like that now. Now I'm just, trying to stay fit and keep up with these high school guys. So I definitely took a step back from the powerlifting phase and all that other stuff, and I definitely went through it for a little bit, just trying to find something to stay competitive. But now just coaching at this level keeps me quite busy.
Yeah,
that's fresh, man. That's fresh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, man. Thank you again so much. All the best to you on this season. The season this up there, man. What a fun challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you,
DJ.
man. Good to see you again.
All right, guys.
Thanks, CJ.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Go
Go
Aztecs.
Aztecs. Great dude.
It's a great perspective, not only from being a team leader, in those top Fisher years, but also now being a coach and just getting his perspective from, the coaching hat on, this team and Coach Dutcher, and just love that perspective.
Yeah, they've done pretty good up there. I'm interested to see how their season goes. DJ Gay is a coach, man. That's exciting. I mean, he was that captain. He was that floor general. He really was on that team. I mean, he really kept them poised and under control. And, his assist to turnover ratio was incredible. His 3-point shooting was very, very nice. And the defense, man. Awesome job, Mike. Awesome job on that, preparing for all that, dude. Thank you for the heavy
man.
lifting on that.
Like, dude, I have to be honest. I think he might be my favorite Aztec of all time.
No, you say that after every
No,
interview. You say that after.
Jamal's up there, right? You know what I mean? But I think he's probably just because he was just the constant consummate professional. Like, he just came in and did his job. He wasn't like all over the place. He was always just the barometer of the team was, him. And just, I mean, let's not bullshit here. That intro was the best, dude. Number 23, DJ Gay. And you would just get pumped. I would get goosebumps. I get goosebumps about that now, and it's just
memorable.
Yeah. And he's just such a good dude, man. Like, they're all good dudes. Like, every time we get somebody on, I'm not saying, but they're always just, it's a similar ilk of individual of just of a high caliber individual who is, and that just shows you the kind of guys that we bring in, and it's fun, man. You know what I mean? Like, and seeing as we get older and they got kids now, and he's younger than us, but you have the kids and stuff, and all that stuff. It's we're all getting older, man. But it's the ride is the journey is the ride, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, he's a good dude.
Well, you both are high caliber individuals as well, Mike and Fiend. And I can't wait to get into this new season. I'm so glad we did this interview, because now it's getting me excited. It's getting me real pumped up for this new basketball season. I can't wait to get into it with you guys. Fiend, I know he just dropped his conference preview, so you guys make sure you check that out.
I want to read that
and get into
a lot of hate from that.
All the hate.
It's all about the hate.
Yes,
but you like how can you hate something that's true, right? Like, what did we say? Like, UNLV is like a Subway sandwich. The bread smells great, and then you go in and it tastes like doo doo. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But like, I think Colorado State might be the play, and I think if we do, we got to figure out how to get seats behind Colorado State bench and play Aztec motto or game time ready as much as we can behind Tess, just to troll him.
We could sneak in a big boombox and hold it above our heads like John Cusack, and just play it. Us three just play it for Tess. Yeah, that'd be
but
nice.
Tess is a fun dude too. So, but I mean, you got to beat him, right? But I mean, that might be but yeah, man, I'm glad we got I hadn't talked to DJ in a while, and not that we're hanging out and stuff like that, but we've had a few conversations and stuff. So, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Fiend, any closing remarks?
I just can't wait for the season to start, man. It's less than 3 weeks away. That first month is going to be a real test for us. I'm really interested to see how these young guys come out the gate. Are we going to gel together and, rise to the task of playing these top 20, KenPom teams so early in the season? This is probably the toughest non-conference schedule we've had ever at San Diego State, with probably the youngest group, the least experienced as far as minutes played together. And so how is that going to look a month from now in Vegas and at home against Gonzaga? So really just a lot of questions right now.
Well, we'll get into it all because the season's right around the corner. Guys, thank you much for joining us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, special thanks to DJ Gay. DJ Gay. Everybody, have a great night. We'll see you very soon. Sons of Montezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.